Young Dutch.
You said that 10 minutes ago.
No, I didn't. I said we had two things to talk about.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my legalese there. I was very specific on that, I know.
Okay.
Young Dutch and young Kevin Sullivan. Now, you at Dirty Mantell on Twitter, I refuse to call it X, Twitter, is probably only the second photo of you I've ever seen without facial hair. After all this time. But you text a photo, and Chris put it up now. For all you history buffs out there, here's an old Polaroid photo of me, Kevin Sullivan, in Valdosta, have I said that right, Georgia, when we were both about 20 years old. 4 months after this photo, I was drafted into the US Army, right when Vietnam was flaming up. I'd had 3 matches, Kevin, about 10. So tell us more about the story about this photo and the first couple of months in the business.
Well, first time I'd met anyone with actual experience in the wrestling business, and it was Valdosta, Georgia.
Pardon me.
Which was way, way down south in Georgia, almost all the way to the state line in Florida. And I had never been in Florida in my life up to that point. So actually, when I left, it said Florida was like 5 miles. So I drove down 5 miles south, which I wanted to be going north, just to say that I'd been in Florida. And I drove down to the exit. I crossed the line, then I came back. So I was in Florida. And Kevin was there, and he was from Boston, and he had met this guy somewhere that went to Florida and was running wrestling shows. And I started talking to Kevin, and I found out how inexperienced he was. He found out how inexperienced I was. And I'd only had like 3 matches, and he'd only had 10. And later on, when I started in Georgia, my first match was they wanted me to drive to Valdosta, Georgia. And the first show I worked there was an independent show. The other show I worked there was a regular show with the Georgia official NWA office. But they didn't tell me it was a tryout. So I went down there because I had a friend working there, and he'd been talking to the booker, Tom Ernesto, about me coming in. And so he gave me a tryout. He wasn't there or anything. And I went out there and worked with somebody. I forgot even who I worked with. But I must have made a pretty good impression because they called me the next week and wanted to start me. So, and I remember instead of signing the WWE contract, they asked me, how much money are you looking at? And I went, oh, I don't know, whatever. And you know what the guy said? Tom did. He said, how about $300 a week? $300 a week. If you worked a regular job, you'd be lucky to make $100 a week, digging ditches or whatever you could get. And I'm thinking, $300 a week? Hell yeah, I'll take it, because I didn't show that much enthusiasm. And I walked out. It was like one of the best days of my life. So then I started working there. But in the picture with Kevin, we had a Polaroid. I guess it was mine. I don't know. And I said, Kevin, take a picture with me. And he did. I don't even know if I knew his name, and then all through my career, I kept running into Kevin here, and I'd run into him there, and we'd always talk about it. So, but he was a good guy. And sometimes people, they want to see where you came from. And I've never shown that picture before, but it's at Dirty D Mantell on X. Used to be Twitter, but you can see it there. So I thank Kevin for taking the picture with me. So, and he told me how he trained and how you trained in Boston. Then I was from South Carolina, so how I trained there, it was similar, but different surroundings. So, and he had the Boston accent. Pak the Kai. Hell, I couldn't even hardly understand him. I was from way down south, so I'm speaking real Southernese, and he's speaking Bostonian. So, but we finally made it work. Good guy.
Yeah. Your Wikipedia and various other match listings list you starting in 1972. But I mean, if you started wrestling before you would, what year were you drafted? Was it 70?
70.
So
no, maybe late 69.
Yeah. So you actually started your career in 69, basically.
Well, maybe earlier before that, but that was just independent shit. I don't even count those. You know, it was just the ring set up and 10 fans around the ring. And the 10 fans, I would be like on a first name basis with them by the time the match was over. So,
but let's say your first match that you got paid for, can we say 68 or 69 then?
Probably. And the pay was be like $5, $10 at the most. And that was it.
Because I know you did.
I had a promoter tell me one time, said he went in the hole and I owed him money. Said, I'm going to charge you for a training session, which he should have because there was nobody there.
Did you wrestle between tours of Vietnam?
I only had one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, only one. I was out after about, I don't know, they was cutting the military back then. I did about 20 something. I didn't do quite 2 years, but I did like 22 months, 21 months.
Just to finish off this thought, then, because I'm very interested in this. So you get back out of the army. Do you just call Tom Renesto up and just say, "Hey, I'm back"?
No, I didn't know Tom then. I knew a guy who had worked independence with me in the Carolinas. His name was Doug Scoggins, and nobody ever remembers him because he got killed in a car wreck. About 6 months after I started in Georgia, because I was living with him. So, and when I heard about he died, they ran 2 shows on Monday. One was Valdosta, one was Augusta. Remember that Valdosta town I was telling you about? They would run it on Monday. And my friend Doug wasn't in Augusta. He was in Valdosta. And he was driving down the road and he got sleepy. And he was big. He was like 6'7", but he was 400 pounds. He was a huge guy. And he went to sleep at the wheel and eased over onto the grass median. And they had a truck working there to put a fence down the middle. And he hit the truck and it come right back on him. Killed him instantly. So I went to Augusta. Then I got a call in Augusta from Tom, because Tom didn't go to Augusta that night for some reason. He usually went. And he told me that Doug, and he loved Doug. He used to ride with him all the time. He loved him. And he said he got killed and wanted me to call his mother and father and tell them. So I had to call them. I had their number. I had to call them from Augusta and give them that news. That's one of the hardest things I ever had to do.